Let's talk about getting scammed. There's nothing more soul crushing than seeing the plane you're supposed to get on right there and missing your flight. Hola, hola mi gente. What is up, my people? Welcome back, or welcome if you are new here. I'm Ariana. I'm a nomad sharing my journey as I travel around the world while empowering other women to do the same. If the one thing that has been holding you back from traveling solo is because you're worried that something may go wrong, good. You're in the right place. One of the best ways to avoid those uh-oh travel moments is to be prepared before you even leave. This is why I create travel guides for some of my favorite solo destinations. They're packed with safety tips, local insights, and of course, some of the things that I wish I knew before I went. The link is always down in the description box below if you want to check it out. Now, let's get into the first travel mishap. We all know that your passport is the most essential travel item that you'll bring on an international trip. But what happens if you lose it? If this is one of your biggest solo travel fears, rest assured there are things you can do to prepare ahead of time to make this situation less overwhelming. Before even boarding the plane, you'll want to create digital copies of your passport, especially the barcode. You also want to have copies of other forms of identification, such as a driver's license or a birth certificate. And you'll want to store these somewhere safe and where you can access it at any time. So saving it on your phone isn't enough, just in case for some reason you don't have your phone. You'll want to store these in a place like the cloud or some kind of virtual space online where you can log in and access them no matter where you are or from any type of device. It's also a good idea to file away physical copies of your passport and other forms of identification back at home. Just as a last resort, if you cannot access your digital copies, you can always call someone back at home who may be able to grab those physical copies for you. There's also the STEP, or Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, that you can sign up for before you go on your trip. While you may not be a big fan of the government tracking your whereabouts, in a situation where you're traveling solo, it's better to be safe than sorry. By registering with STEP before you leave, you can be sure that the government will know where you are if for any reason something happens and you need assistance wherever you are. It's also a good idea to have travel insurance and see if they cover emergency passport replacement, just in case. Now, if you are traveling and your passport gets stolen, misplaced, or even runs out of pages, yes, that is a real thing. It actually happened to me. The one thing that you will need to do is act fast. You'll want to contact the U.S. Embassy that's closest to you, and they can guide you on what exactly you'll need to do. Every embassy has a different process and steps for their procedure, so you'll want to make sure that you reach out and just communicate with someone, and they'll guide you through every step of the process. It's also a good idea before you leave on your trip, if this is something that is a big concern for you, is to figure out where the U.S. Embassy is and go ahead and save it to your Google Maps so that you know where it is and can find it easily if you need it. I actually had to get my passport replaced while I was in Argentina. I only had 2 empty pages left in my passport, and it was before I was going to be traveling a lot for the holidays. So because a lot of countries require that you have at least 2 blank pages in order to enter the country so that they can have room to stamp, I knew that I needed to go ahead and just get a new passport book so that I wouldn't have any issues when it came to traveling to different places. So that is something to be aware of as well. If you see that your passport is running out of pages, make sure to be ahead of the process. Don't be caught at anyone's immigration borders, and go ahead and file for a new passport sooner than later. Like I mentioned, every embassy is different, so just be sure to pack your patience and ask all the questions that you need to. Don't be afraid to ask questions. This is when you want to make sure that you're clear on all the information that is necessary. The documents that you'll need will vary, but you'll likely need your passport number and likely another form of identification. The next travel mishap: getting sick while traveling solo. Getting sick while traveling and being alone isn't just one of those things that's uncomfortable. It can also be really scary, especially when you're in a foreign country and you may be unsure of where to go or who to even call on. But how you prepare is truly going to be your best defense in this situation. After arranging your accommodations, you'll want to use Google Maps to search for English-speaking hospitals that are near where you're staying, and save those just in case you need them later. It's also a really good idea to join expat communities on Facebook for the destination that you're going to. So to find these, you'll just go on Facebook and search for expats in Puerto Vallarta or foreigners in Cartagena, 2 places that I would also highly recommend for solo travel. These communities can be really helpful and resourceful for getting information that you need in order to better navigate wherever you're going. And of course, I said it before and I'll say it again, travel insurance is your friend, especially for situations like these. I personally use Safety Wing, and I was grateful to have them when I got food poisoning in Bali, aka Bali Belly. It was not a comfortable situation at all, and even though the situation was a bit stressful and overwhelming, one of the things that I didn't have to worry about was how much getting care at that time was going to cost me, because I knew that I was insured and that having travel insurance would help offset any of the costs associated with the care that I had to get at that time. Personally, I also travel with a emergency kit. I use that in quotes because really this is just a plastic bag with some essential items in it, like band-aids, Neosporin, over-the-counter meds. I like having things like these on hand just in case I get sick while in transit. So this is an option as well. Just be careful because some airports do not allow you to transport certain medications. Now, let's talk about getting scammed. This can be a little awkward because sometimes you don't even realize you've been scammed until after it's already happened. Truthfully, as a tourist, it just comes with the territory at times. For example, the foreigner tax, when tourists are charged like 4 times the amount of what the actual local price is, and just because locals know that you're not from the area and you won't know any better. If this is something that's ever happened to you, drop a comment down below and let me know what happened and how much did they get you for. I know I'm not alone in this. While we can't necessarily avoid getting scammed as foreigners, there are some other scams that are a little bit more costly, and you can take some precautions to help avoid them. It always helps to do some research on the area before you go. You can simply type into Google common scams in X, Y, and Z, or use sites such as Reddit and even YouTube to find other scams that have just been common amongst foreigners visiting that area. While this won't protect you 100%, it does make you aware, which is a form of protection. There's also a cheat code, my travel guides, where I've done all this research for you, including visiting that destination myself. Again, that link is down in the description box below. Learning basic phrases when going to a non-English speaking destination can also be a big help too. And by basic phrases, I'm talking about words such as look, danger, caution, things that you would want to be able to identify and recognize in scenarios where a scam might be happening. When you're packing, you want to keep in mind that the goal is to avoid flashiness. Essentially, don't wear things that you don't want to get stolen. Wearing expensive jewelry or things that are really flashy not only makes you a target for thieves, but it will definitely catch the eye of someone who's trying to scam you. Likewise, don't walk around with your phone in your hand. This makes you definitely stand out and look like a tourist, but it can also make you a victim of getting your phone stolen. I always recommend, if you really are lost, to find a local cafe or store that you can pop into, or even if there is a non-sketchy area where you could stand or sit either on a bench, or maybe there's like a wall behind you, somewhere where you can keep any and everything in your peripheral while you are looking at your phone, just so you can be aware of what's going on around you and not have to constantly be looking over your shoulder or watching your back. Also, don't accept free things from strangers. Nothing in life is ever free. A common scam in different places is for someone to tie something around your wrist or to shove something in your hands, and before you know it, they're turning around and demanding money and making a scene and basically trying to pressure you into giving them money. Yeah, a way to avoid that is don't take anything from strangers. When browsing the web, you'll want to make sure that you're using a VPN, especially when you're on public Wi-Fi at the airport, at your hotel, out at a coffee shop. This will help with protecting sensitive data when you're online and can keep you protected from things like identity theft. It's not something that we commonly think about when thinking about scammers, but you need to protect yourself online as much as offline. I use NordVPN, and if you would like to use my referral code, you can also find that down in the description box below. Lastly, this is just my personal opinion from my own experience, but just avoid taxis at all costs. I just feel like taxi drivers are the same worldwide, and more often than not they tend to be scammers. So whenever possible, always opt for rideshare apps instead of using a taxi. And you can find local rideshare companies at your destination with just a simple Google search or by using my travel guides down below. Now, the next travel mishap can feel like a real punch in the gut, whether it happens while you're traveling solo or just in everyday life. But when you lose your phone while traveling by yourself, it literally can feel like losing your arm. As a solo traveler, our phones are literally our lifeline. So if this scenario happens to you, it's important to act fast. The first step to take is to file a police report. You'll also want to get in contact with your phone carrier to see if there's anything that they can do to help you with tracking it or even blocking it. Also ask them if your phone plan covers a replacement, because some do. And this is another scenario where the Facebook groups can be really helpful, either with finding a replacement phone or figuring out where you can go locally to get one. If you know that pickpocketing or phones getting stolen is a common thing at the destination that you're traveling to, it's also a good idea to travel with a backup phone, just in case. Some other ways to prepare before you go is to download tracking apps such as Find My iPhone for iPhone users, Apple users. I don't know what the equivalent will be for Android, but I'm sure there's one out there. You also want to sync any important documents, even photos and videos, to the cloud or some sort of equivalent. That way, if heaven forbid you don't get your phone back, at least you still have access to the things that you need and you still have memories from your trip up to that point. Another good tip is to set up communication apps on another device other than your phone. So social apps like WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Signal, Instagram, having these set up on a different device such as your computer or your iPad, this will allow you to still communicate with your friends and your loved ones even if you don't know their number by heart. If you're comfortable with it, you can also share your location with a friend or family member, and you can also save contacts in another place, such as your Notes app or even in your email. If you want to just create an email with people's names and phone numbers and have it as a draft or just send it to yourself, it's something that you can reference from anywhere, even if you don't have your phone, in order to get in contact with the people that you need to reach. Travel mishap number 5 is a big one. Missing your flight. Catching a flight sometimes can really feel like rolling a dice, because even when you do everything right, things can still go wrong. Your schedule might just have tight connection times, your gate can change last minute, bad weather can completely derail your entire flight schedule. There's just so many things, so many different variables that can happen on a travel day, and sometimes missing a flight is inevitable. As frustrating as it can be, honestly, the best thing that you can do in the situation is to just be as calm as possible and to be nice to people, especially the airline staff. I had this happen to me when I was leaving Japan. I was waiting for my visa to get approved from Vietnam, and Vietnam really waited until the last 30 seconds, I kid you not, to approve my visa. And unfortunately, it was right as the doors were closing for the flight that I was supposed to board. There's nothing more soul crushing than seeing the plane you're supposed to get on right there, and you're so close, you're on time, you've done everything to make the flight, and you still miss it. Oh my goodness. Let's talk about a slap in the face. So it was very disappointing to have that happen, but I tried my hardest to just keep my cool and not take it out on the airline staff. And I mean, honestly, it wasn't their fault. They were doing their job and they couldn't let me board until they actually saw the approval letter for my visa. And I really do think that having the best attitude that I could in that situation really paid off, because not only did they rebook me for free on the flight the next day, they also gave me a belated birthday card because they noticed it was my birthday a couple of days before, and they kind of felt bad about the situation too. So I thought that was really sweet, but it was a situation where I felt like kindness played a big role in the situation turning out for the better. So if you find yourself facing the scenario when traveling solo, you just want to ask about all your options. What it would cost to rebook, if it costs anything. Sometimes this is covered either under the type of flight that you booked or your travel insurance. You want to ask about accommodation options. Maybe they offer you a free stay and sometimes even food vouchers so that you can get a free meal while you are staying overnight or waiting however long for the next available flight that you can get on. And again, check your benefits with your travel insurance and even with your credit card. If you have a travel credit card, sometimes they cover things such as delays and missed flights as well, as long as it's not your fault. Like, you can't be late getting to the airport and expect your travel insurance or credit card insurance to cover it. Now you've got all the tools to handle the hard stuff. If anything comes up, you are now prepared. If there's something that I didn't cover that you're curious about, drop it down in the comments below and let me know. Chances are I've probably run into it while traveling at some point in my journey. And before you take off on your next solo trip, check out this video where I share my biggest lessons and mindset shifts after 4 years of traveling alone. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll check you guys out in the next video. Ciao, ciao.